Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Bros Who Know. Irrefutably authentic. I'm Dr. Jeff LaCure, and once again, I am with my podcast partner, the Count Chocula of podcasts, Richard Yancey. And today, we're just going to bring you another important edutainment podcast about a current trend, it is a trend that's happening out there that Rich and I really want to talk with you about. And I'll show you the video in just a second. I just want to say briefly, before everybody starts commenting negatively on what Rich and I have to say, we are not here to body shame. We're not here to hurt feelings. We are not here to make someone feel less than. However, we are here to be honest, direct, and profound. And there's an emerging trend right now of really, we're talking extremely obese men and women who are putting out videos, who are going on talk shows, and they're talking that they are living their best life and they've never been happier. Here's one woman, for example. Take a look.
Do you ever get dressed and just be like, damn, I look good? I did today.
So, Rich, before I turn it over to you, when you sent me that, I got to tell you what my first reaction was, and I'm going to share it with our viewers. I was instantly sad. I didn't find it entertaining. I didn't find it humorous. And can I tell you why I found it sad?
Yeah.
Because I, as a mental health professional, I know what's going on for that young woman, statistically. Now, maybe she's an outlier and this isn't the case. But first and foremost, she is not living her best life. She is not feeling fit and fabulous and happy and yay me. I promise you that that's not going on, regardless of what culture. Because some cultures prefer larger women. That's not a larger woman, right? That is a grossly obese woman. And when I say gross, I'm not talking about she's gross. I'm using it as a way to measure. Gross is a measurement. She is grossly obese. And yet she's put together a video that is celebrating being grossly obese. And there's nothing to celebrate. It's not healthy. It's not good for somebody. And here is the $1 million surprise of the day, Rich, and then I'll turn it over to you because I'd be curious what you think. Statistically speaking, most grossly obese men and women have one thing in common. They've been sexually abused as a child. See, I take that very seriously given what I do for work. And 1 out of 4 women in this country were sexually abused as a child. And 1 out of 5 men in this country were sexually abused as a child. I'm not saying definitively, I don't know this young woman, that she was sexually abused as a child. But what I do know is that the majority of women who are posting, they're not saying they were sexually abused, but they were sexually abused. And the excess weight serves to be a protectant, a shield for them. And I don't find anything fit and fabulous by anyone who's had to endure the trauma of being sexually abused. So when I first saw that video, Rich, I didn't see a fit and fabulous woman living her best life. I saw very possibly a woman who was sexually abused and traumatized as a child, who in her own way of trying to rework it is putting out videos saying, hey, be just like me. We don't want anybody to be like her. We don't want any victims. We don't want anybody hurt. And we don't want anybody living a lie. Rich, I got long-winded. What's your thoughts on what I just threw out?
Oh man, that's a doozy. I think it's when I saw that it says denial all over it. People are in denial now, and I think nowadays people are just saying, instead of trying to fix the problem, they're saying, look, the problem is okay.
The problem is you, everybody else, right?
The problem is okay. And listen, there's nothing wrong with feeling good about yourself. Like if she really feels good about herself, that's great. The problem is that, like I said, I think that she's trying to project that she's feeling good about herself. I think that's the problem. Because you cannot feel good about yourself when you can't walk. You can't walk 4 or 5 blocks. You know what I mean? You can't. A lot of things you can't do. You're limited because of your size. You can't do it. So and I think the underlining problem here is that it's health related. Forget about anything else. All right. So as adults, we have to have standards, and we want to project to young people, a good way of living life. You know what I mean? So we use these platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, right? And we want to project how we're living our life, and it's supposed to be in a positive way, so we can show other young people, right, giving them stepping stones, or maybe like some breadcrumbs to follow, right, to say, listen, if you go in this direction, you can also live this life. Now you just have anyone just posting something. They haven't even tried anything. You know what I mean? They just throw on a dress, and then this lady, she just throws on a dress and say, "Look,
Yeah.
I feel great. I am beautiful." You might be a beautiful person,
That's right.
but you are killing yourself.
That's right.
You know what
Rich,
I mean?
I love that. I mean, that you hit the heart of the matter in one real important regard, that we're not making value judgments and value statements that somebody could be a beautiful person. They're kind, they're caring, they're gracious, they're respectful. We are, however, pointing out that they're not being honest. Notice I didn't say that they're beautiful inside because they're being honest. She's not being honest. If she was honest, she wouldn't have posted that video to begin with, right? And she makes, unintentionally, this is my professional opinion, she makes a mockery out of all those men and women who are grossly obese. They don't want to be grossly obese. They were traumatized as children. They are now sort of living in this eternal shell. And even if they weren't traumatized as children, they don't look in the mirror and go, yay me. Yay, that feels good. Like you said, 4 or 5 blocks, you can't even do it. You can't sit comfortably in a chair. It's difficult to shop, and yet we're being told, this is the current trend. This is why we're doing this podcast. We're being told to pretend that this is the emperor's new clothes. And the whole value of the emperor's new clothes is, here's a naked emperor with no clothes on, and he's pretending that he's got a brand new coat. And he wants everybody to say, hey, what do you think of my brand new coat? And like the sheep they are, they go, oh, your majesty, that's a beautiful coat. It is a magnificent coat. Instead of saying, hey, dude, you're naked. You're not wearing a coat. And apparently the room is really, really cold right now, or you got some other issues going on. Come on, Rich, that was a funny joke right there.
Yeah, no,
but back to the point. Back to the point.
Right.
That's why I love when we do our podcast together, Rich, because I've noticed, I was watching a lot of our other ones, what you and I tend to do consistently is cut through the bullshit.
Right.
Right? And point out when people are being dishonest or they have lacked credibility or integrity. I'm going to use the Richard Yancey word, and I'm going to throw it back to you. They're not qualified. She's not qualified to put herself out on a video and tell the world how happy she is, because she's not.
I think you're absolutely right. But like I said, with this young lady, I don't know what she's going through, but I definitely think she's in denial. Denial is very strong. I'm telling you, we see it in all shapes and forms today. Even with the vaccines, we'll go through that another day.
Yeah, we will. Unless we get pulled.
So she's definitely in denial, and it's like I said, she's not qualification. If she understood exactly what she's doing, I don't think she understands. So this whole thing, she could have changed. They said, say if she got on there and she had the dress on, and she's like, listen, I work out every day. I'm doing the best. I'm doing it. I'm doing the best I can, and I'm going out tonight, and I'm going to wear this dress, and I'm going to go out knowing that I'm beautiful. Yes, yes, because we don't want you to. No one wants anyone to be, trapped in their body and not be happy.
That's right.
Okay, but when you're saying that, look, it's okay. I don't need, I don't need to do anything. I'm okay as is. Then you're selling a product. That's wrong.
Doesn't even exist.
Yeah, and if you have a trend of that, you can have, now you have obesity going up. Now you have heart attacks going up. Now you have depression going up.
Diabetes.
We all want to live our best life. Look, I don't have abs, but you know what I mean? I'm talking about, I have them underneath there somewhere. But you know what I mean? I won't go and take off a shirt and say, look at my abs when I don't have them. Like, I'm very honest to myself. You know what I mean? And it's okay to be honest to yourself.
That's right.
And it's okay to, just to be honest, because as long as you're honest to yourself, you are living your best life.
That's right. And she was dishonest.
Well, yeah, see, that's the problem, Jeff. That's the problem, Jeff. The problem is this. Is she being dishonest, or is she
delusional?
Yeah, she's just,
It's one or the other. Neither of them are good.
I know, but I see that in a lot of people nowadays.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean? So,
See, the cool thing about you and I doing this specific podcast is our viewers could tell that you and I work out. We work out regularly, and some viewers are going to be, oh, it's easy for Rich and Jeff to say this. Look at them, which is, don't even get me started on how absurd that opinion is. We didn't just look like this, overnight. There's a commitment and a dedication, and what I love though about you and I doing this specific topic is you and I are in the gym every day, and we see really fat men and women at our gym working out, and we have nothing but the utmost respect for them.
Right.
See, they're not lying.
No.
Right. They're not using excuses. They're not posting a video that says, I lead a life of unhealth. Look at me. Look how fabulous I am. Look how healthy and beautiful and handsome and gorgeous I am. You're not. You're either delusional or you're dishonest. And so, again, we're not body shaming. We're not finger pointing. What we're doing is we're not going to sit back and pretend like when people like her post this video that it is something to be celebrated, right? Quick numbers, you already mentioned some of them. Incredibly higher rate of heart attack, of cancer, of diabetes, which is now rising up so fastly. It's going to be one of the leading causes of death in this country. Obesity is off the chart. And she is promoting really gross obesity. And you know what I love about this country too, Rich? I support her right to do it. But since she published it, right?
Well, she can get bashed for it.
Then we now have the opportunity to respond. I hope she'll respond to what we have to say. It'd be outstanding to have a debate. And in just a few moments, we're gonna show the viewers this wonderful debate between this doctor and two obese women who are trying to suggest that being obese is really healthy.
Right. So like I said, denial. I think she's in denial. I really think that she's in denial. Okay, so. And she seemed like, listen, she seemed like a nice woman. She seemed like,
she
really tried
on
to,
her
she seemed like she really wanted to come out and, and make a point. But like I said, we have responsibility. Once we go on a public platform, we have a responsibility. And the responsibility, like I said before, is just to make sure that the people that view, we educate them in a certain way, or, make them laugh, or do, whatever it may be. So, like I said, I go to the gym. You go to the gym. All right. I'm not perfect. No, but see, the thing is, I go to the gym for my physical being. I read. I do research for my mental health. And I do. The things I do out through the day, I try to do everything that's positive, that's going to advance me to be a better person. So, if you love yourself, if she loves herself, she has to do things that's going to build her health, she has to be honest to herself. She has to, project positive things, to other people. You know what I mean? Just by saying I'm beautiful, it doesn't, and that's like a theme now. Like people could say, oh, I'm beautiful. Yeah, but that's not, being physical beautiful is not, that's nothing.
That's not the end of the road.
Who you are as a human being, like if you're a good person or a bad person, if you do for others, if you try to, help. We're doing this podcast for us and for everybody else. We're trying to teach them. I don't come up here and say, look how great how beautiful I look. You're not coming up here and saying how beautiful you look. It has nothing to do with how I look.
No.
It has to do with this. Like we're trying to give a different perspective on life, some perspective that people haven't really thought about. Right? What do you think?
Well, I agree with you wholeheartedly, Rich, and I want to, again, highlight on something that you bring it up. So this woman, and I forget if she mentioned how much she weighs, but it's got to be 400 pounds at least, maybe 450. Again, that's not healthy, nor is it healthy to be 65 pounds. So we're talking about extremes, right? We're not saying somebody's got to be a Victoria's Secret model. As a matter of fact, a lot of Victoria's Secret models are too thin. We're not talking about this perfection. We're not talking about you have to look a certain way. What we're talking about is what's healthy. And there's a big range of what's healthy. 450 pounds, never healthy. 65, 75, 85 pounds for a man or woman, it's just not healthy. Those extremes aren't healthy. The irony for me, remember I told you how sad I was when I saw that video? There have been videos out there for for decades, Rich. This is new now that we see obese people, but the phenomenon's not new. We've had people who are anorexic, actively anorexic, who are just skin and bones, who have been putting videos out, and they've been on the dark web for years. And because they are unhealthy, we know over 90% of women who battle with anorexia have been sexually abused. They've certainly been traumatized in childhood. That's been going on for years. Now the new trend is, right, it's so classic how everything shifts,
Right.
is now we're going to show a whole new level of extreme
Right.
and try to pretend like it's healthy. There's a balance in there, right? People don't have to look like a bodybuilder. People don't have to look like a professional athlete. People don't have to look like, a celebrity. Jennifer Aniston, one of my favorite celebs, looks anyways, right? I like the way she's built. Nor do you have to look that way to feel beautiful or handsome. However, you never feel beautiful or handsome if you're not first honest with yourself. And that's what you've been highlighting, Rich, is these people aren't being honest.
Well, yeah, I'd say either honest or, they're in denial, one or the other. I don't know if, like I said, when you're in denial, honesty is a tough product, because what do you really believe at that point? You really believe, like, she could really believe that she's healthy, or that she's, beautiful. And beautiful, see, that's what, we have to be careful when we say these words like beautiful. Beautiful is more than just
So
a physical
subjective,
being.
isn't it? So subjective.
You have to be, if you're beautiful, you have to be honest to yourself, because you have to be beautiful on the inside and outside. You can't
That's right.
just be beautiful in one direction. And another thing I think, people don't understand, a bodybuilder can be unhealthy.
Absolutely. Many are.
Yeah.
That's a very extreme lifestyle.
Models can be unhealthy.
Very many.
You know what I mean? So it has to do with this. Like, you have to, if you love yourself, you have to put those things aside, and you have to say, listen, all right, this is what I'm gonna try to eat better. And listen, I struggle with that every day. Like, every day I say, okay, I'll eat better, and I still slip off. I love chocolate. I'll eat too much chocolate. Sometimes I gain 5 or 10 pounds, and then I lose 5 pounds. It's a constant battle. It's not like it's, I just sit here and I'm just, I'm in great shape. But I have times where I do really well, and then I have times where I fall off a little bit. But then I say, all right, you know what? I gotta get back into it. So even when you love yourself, it's a constant battle, because you have to pick and choose what's good for you than what's fun for you.
That's
or
right.
what's, tastes good, or whatever.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's
And
right.
and when you do that, right? And this is why, you end up loving yourself over time, right? When you do that, what you do, you build up. Like, it's like even working out. It's like anything else you do. Over time, you start loving yourself, because you put the work in.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like, over time, when you're good to people over and over and over again, you put the work in. When
That's
you
right. That's
when
right.
you eat right over and over again, you might slip up, but the majority of the time you eat right, you put
It's
the work
balanced.
in. Yeah, you put the work in.
That's right.
And anytime you put the work in, you look in the mirror and be like, listen, I put the work in. And you put the work in into yourself. So that's loving yourself, putting the work in. You love, the girl that you're with. You
Yeah,
put the
I do.
work in, right? You put the work in. You love your kids. You put the work in. Anything that you love, you put the work in. But if you don't put any work, and you just throw on some clothes and say, I'm beautiful,
Then you're
either denial or you're lying.
Absolutely. And here's a group, because there's going to be a group of our viewers, and we love and respect you, whether you agree with us or not. At least you know where we stand. We're honest with our opinions. We try to back up our opinions with facts. We don't succumb to pressure like they do on Fox or CNN to say certain things because of who's paying the bills. We give you our honest opinions, and then you can agree or disagree with them. That's what's so beautiful about this country. There's going to be a small group of our viewers out there, Rich, who are going to say, my husband, my boyfriend, loves me super plus size. And there's more lies. They may love them as a person.
Right.
And there are some men out there, very few women, by the way, but there are some men out there who do have a sexual fetish of the more body fat you have, the more aroused I am. I won't go into all the details of why. Just trust me that that's factual. So basically what I'm saying, Rich, is, again, sexual fetishes are healthy, they're normal. Some are out there and not healthy and not normal. To be attracted to an incredibly obese woman is not doing anybody any harm. But what you and I are trying to say is we're talking about a healthy balance. We're talking about a lifestyle of good health. And we cannot, I'm not going to condone promoting 65 pounds, right? 5'2", 65 pounds, and say, whoa, she's healthy, she's a beautiful person, because I know the truth underneath, right? She could be a beautiful person inside. But you know what this woman, we know for a fact, we already know this about her at 450 pounds, she doesn't love herself. How do we know that? Because people who love themselves don't allow themselves to get that big and to be that extreme, or to be 65 pounds and be that extreme, and then go on to camera and lie and say they feel great. See, you gave an honest response that she should have. You said, look, today maybe I don't have my six-pack abs. I know they're in there, right? I'd like to have them. Some days yes, some days I don't. But you didn't come out and say any, you weren't bragging about it. You weren't saying, you were talking about balance and health.
Well, I try to live as honest as I can, because only, not to show off, just so I can gauge where I am. You have to be honest so you can gauge where you are. Otherwise, you'll get lost out there.
That's right.
If I start telling myself lies, But again, like I said, I'm gonna talk to her. Like you have a pretty face. But the message that you're selling is a terrible message.
That's right.
And anyone who loves you, they want you to be on the planet forever.
That's right. That's
so
right.
Your health, you definitely have to go and check. Make sure you do, to work out. Make sure that you don't have diabetes. You don't have heart problems. You want to you want to try to lose some weight, because at the end of the day, you want to live, right?
I hope so.
Right. So. So it's more than that. So the guy that's with a woman that's obese, right? He's gonna want, if he wants her to stay alive, he's gonna have to listen, maybe we should eat this way, maybe,
Yeah.
And like I said, we all have our life struggles.
That's
all
right.
of us. We're
That's
all of us humans. Because I only can say humans now because everyone gets upset. Who knows what's going on? All of us humans now, right?
Yeah. All us people.
We all have struggles during life. But if
That's
we
right.
start, if we fall into this thing called denial. Right, you're going to get lost. You're not going to find your direction.
No.
You have to tell yourself the truth so you can gauge where you are, and then you can make a map where you want to go, like where you want to be.
Hopefully she'll put out a video in a year that will say, I'm sorry, and I hope her health is better and there's a healthy lifestyle. Let's take a quick look at a clip from Dr. Drew, where he has a medical professional on, and then two women who I believe founded an organization that basically says the organization is Celebration of Fat. Let's take a look at that one. Let our viewers see it, Rich, and then you and I can give some more feedback. Take a look, folks. Let us know what you think.
The HAES approach, the health at every size approach, has been documented to work. And it's been documented to work year after year.
What do you mean work? What do you mean work? Because a health at every size is a lie. If you starve yourself into damage, that's unhealthy. Or if you eat yourself into damage, that's not healthy.
You're making a lot of assumptions.
That's just not.
Here,
that's not true.
You're making a lot of assumptions.
That's like saying
about
that.
Weight
let's
being
say you were a smoker. Let's say you're a smoker and have black lungs, and you try to say that's healthy because you don't have cancer yet. We know that it is actually factual that obesity is dangerous, and it's connected to cancer, stroke, Alzheimer's. We even know it's connected to an increase in birth defects. So there's nothing left to debate.
Maybe,
it's not beautiful. It's not healthy.
Maybe, do you have some...
Rich, what do you think, man? That's some interesting stuff.
Yeah, so the doctor, she had... I guess, an obese family. And people don't understand, so you have one woman that shows a small little clip on, how she looks in a dress and everything, and she's like, I am beautiful, right? But this doctor actually lived with an obese family, and she sees the life struggles, the real life struggles.
That's right.
that you have to deal with. What people don't understand about, they might think that we're like bashing obese people, but people don't understand
Zero
is this.
bashing.
Yeah, what people don't understand is this: when you're in a body, right, and that cannot perform the way your mind can perform,
Great
you
example.
are in jail. Like you are in mental jail. Because when you're sitting in that body and you're like, oh yeah, I want to run, and you can't run, or I want to get up and just go grab that. Like me and you, we just get up, we go grab it. Person who's 400 pounds, they have to try to get up off the seat. To walk over there is an effort. To us, it's effortless.
That's right.
So what
right.
people don't understand, so why they think that we're bashing them, they don't understand. Put yourself in their body.
Mm-hmm.
You know, think about all the things that all the people do that I'm reaching out to you right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's effortless for you. Getting inside of a car, getting outside of a car,
Mm-hmm.
you know, going to a restaurant and not have everyone looking at you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a lot, when you're 400 pounds, you're getting attention. And
Oh,
it's not
big time.
it's not good
It's
attention.
not good attention.
You
It's
know,
not good attention.
and that's sad too, because
Right.
we should all treat everyone with
Fairly.
respect, right?
And I like that, and
Yeah.
respect.
With respect, right? And like I said, I respect her. It's just her message. You know,
See,
the only problem I had was the message.
Yeah, see, it's a rich, you know, this is maybe where we have a little, I actually don't respect her because she's not being honest, and
Well,
honesty
what
is
about
such a-
denial though? So let's talk about that. So isn't denial, like when you, if
Remember,
someone,
it made me sad to watch
right.
her.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Okay, because we use lying and we use denial, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're both having two different words that we're using.
Yeah.
My question to you, Jeff, if you have everyone around you saying, listen, you know what, because they're lying to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
You look beautiful. Just who cares what people think? Just go out there and just be the best you. You can just, that's a lot of that going on, right?
It sure is. It
And
sure
if,
is.
if you hear that over and over again, you know, and you're like, listen, working out is too hard. Doing all this stuff is, you know, it's too hard. I'm just gonna love me for me, and that's it. And then you come out and you put that on, and everyone's like, great job, right? Denial is a powerful thing.
Real powerful.
If you really believe it,
Mm-hmm.
are you lying to yourself?
Yes. And it's a conscious lie, too. And that's what frustrates me about it, Rich, is it's the lie is being celebrated. Last week in our podcast, where we were talking about why men are really reluctant to date women, you brought up a great point. You mentioned that there's a lot of songs right now where women are like, I don't need a man. Right? Thank you. My album will be coming out anytime now. I just dated myself by saying album. And I can't even say CD.
That's all right, buddy.
This woman is sending the message that, yeah, right, I'm living my best life and everything is good. And what we know about her is she's not living her best life. It's impossible. You don't love yourself there. It's normal. Let me highlight that. That's the key thing. It's normal to feel depressed at 450 pounds when you look in the mirror. It's normal to feel depressed when you can't walk across the room because you're so out of shape, to feel depressed. It's normal to feel depressed when the majority of people, both as friends and as family and certainly as potential dating partners, are going to pass you by, to feel depressed. It's normal. What's not normal, and certainly not healthy, Rich, is for the women who are in this last clip we saw with Dr. Drew, where they're talking about, see how healthy it is and there's a whole wide range of health? No, there's not. You're either healthy or you're not healthy. That's sort of like saying someone might be sort of pregnant, or either you're pregnant or you're not. Or as my high school English teacher said, and I love him for saying that, his name was Lou Williams. We called him Sweet Lou Williams. And in class, he had this wonderful accent. And he said, if you ever learn anything and only one thing from me, and this is so grammatically incorrect, he goes, either it is or it isn't. Either you're healthy or you're not. I know as a man who's getting older now, I can't believe I said it, that's why I wore the pink shirt today. I'm not at my peak health, right? I know I'm not at my peak health. I could probably be cardiovascular, more health. I'm sure my blood pressure could probably notch down. Actually, I know that for a fact a little bit. So I'm not suggesting with me that it's pure health. But either you're healthy
Or you're not.
or you're not.
Right.
Right?
No, yeah, I think, no, you're absolutely right about that. And like I said, you know, with the denial with her, I think she has to look in the mirror and say, listen, okay, I'm going to love myself, but part of my loving myself, I have to put the work in.
That's right.
Okay, and
It is
and
work.
when you
It
put
is
the
effort.
work in, then you can show that work
That's
to
right.
everyone, so you can, you know, so it has a domino effect, so they can put the work in also.
That's right.
You know, so yeah, so it's one of those things. Like I said, you know, everyone's being in denial now. Like I see, denial is like an epidemic now. It's like
That's
you
right.
don't have to put the work in anything. Like for instance, all right, we talked about, and I'm gonna bring it back a little bit, right? The male and female, right? You know, people don't want to say their gender,
Right.
right? But I'm telling you, we have a fork and a knife. It's always going to be a fork and a knife.
That's right. It's
Now,
not
we have
legit.
to have names of things.
Yeah, we do.
You know what I mean?
The way to identify
Right,
them.
we have to identify. So, you know, and she has to identify as this. Look, if you're going to be a public figure, All right? It's not about you.
That's right.
So when you come out there saying it's about me and everyone's supposed to go, no, 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 it's not about you. You're sending the wrong message. When you're a public figure, it's about everyone else, and then it will be about you later on.
That's right.
It depends on what you project out there.
That's right.
And say you went out there, you wore your gown like you did, and then everyone's like, you know what, I'm not gonna work out. I'm just gonna feel beautiful, and they start dying all over the place. That's partly your fault. That's not, you know what I mean? That's not the message that you want to send.
No, it's a bad message. It's an awful message, and we have a country that is now epidemically obese. It's off the chart, and it's getting worse. You know, I have very close family members, actually, Rich, and I hate when people say, "Oh, I have family members, so it must be true." However, I have very close family members who have battled obesity a large part of their lives. Some still battling it today, and you know, I've seen it sort of firsthand, the impact. But more importantly, I've been blessed to sit in my clinical chair for over 35 years and help people deal with their body image and help them accept who they are and help them embrace really important emotional, mental, and physical health lifestyles so that they can be their best selves. And so I have, I guess, kind of a unique understanding that from a clinical mental health standpoint, when these people come out with these videos, including Dr. Drew, who even questioned, right, the health of these women, it's okay to have an opinion. But because you have an opinion doesn't mean it's fact. Because you believe it doesn't mean it's fact. And at the end of the day, and this is where you and I always drop, we always drop on what the science is currently saying.
Right.
What the science currently says is that it is impossible to be healthy at 450 pounds. It is impossible to love yourself at 450 pounds. And sadly, and this is what makes me so damn sad, Rich. Man, I'm sad and it's a Monday. Maybe because it's 48 degrees outside. But sadly, it's impossible for others to fully love and appreciate you because what they understand is you are not living your best life. Again, as we begin to wrap it up, Rich, you and I aren't judging somebody. We're not saying they're not good people. We're not saying that they're not kind. You know, so we've never used the word lazy or any of that sort of crap stereotypes. We're just being honest in saying emperor's new clothes. You cannot, it's impossible to feel good about yourself in the extremes. You don't have to look like a model, but you also can't look like the extreme. Rich, I'll give you the final word.
So, like we talked about this in the past podcast. Look, perfection you're never going to be perfect.
That's right.
All right. It's a matter of fact.
And stop
imperfection.
trying.
Yeah, imperfection gives you identity.
It sure does.
Okay. So that being said, so you know, like I said, it's to love yourself. All right, because we just said this 1,000 times, and it's going 1,000 more times. You got to put the work in, and after you put the work in, you could say whatever you could come out and you could say that you could say, look, I put the work in. This is my result, and I'm happy. I'm going in the right direction,
and still working.
Right, and still working.
Right, still working.
But because you're putting the work in, I know you love yourself. You don't have to tell me you love yourself.
That's right.
I know you love yourself.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Because and people who support you putting the work in, they love you too. If anyone tells you don't put the work in, they don't love you.
No, they don't care.
I'm gonna tell you this right now, they don't love you, because they want you to be around. It's hard to tell someone that you love, like, listen, you know what, you're gaining some weight. You gotta, you have to, you gotta do something about it because I want you to be here.
Yeah,
you know
it'd be nice to grow old together, or at least grow old.
Who you are in the inside, all right, you want to be beautiful.
That's right.
Who you are on the outside, you want to be healthy.
That's right.
You want to be healthy, and you want to project, being healthy to help other people. And that's what that's all I have to say, Jeff.
I'll tell you, Rich, I hope that's what our viewers are going to take away from this.
I hope so.
We gave you a lot to think about. We're going to, obviously we hope you like us, subscribe. We hope you share this important podcast with friends and family members. Give us some feedback. Let us know what you think. On behalf of the Dark Knight, Richard Yancey, I'm Dr. Jeff LaCure. This has been another episode of Bros Who Know. And as we always say, we're irrefutably authentic. And again, I want to thank our outstanding producer, Michelle Hebshe, and I hope you all appreciate the wonderful introduction to our show that she put together. And our second most favorite producer, our production assistant extraordinaire, Daniel, for coming in and helping us out with number 2. Thank you, Daniel, for coming aboard again. With that, Rich and I just gave you another 35 minutes of straight truth. Have yourself a wonderful week. We'll see you soon.